Hey everyone, good morning. Today we are going to be going over Unit 6, Lesson 1. And for this activity, I really want to go over this because I think there's a few things that might confuse you. So for the first one, um, this is just a which one does not belong. You're going to write your answer right here. You can have many different reasons. Figure out why you think which one of these doesn't belong and put your reason in the space below. Now, let's see. Okay. So for the second part, and it's only three questions, I give you answer choices for the first two. And then for the third one, you're going to have to come up with your own reasoning behind how you found that answer. But if you do the first two, the third one is also connected. So you should be able to do the third one. Now, this is a new type of problem that we haven't seen before. So this first one is asking, what is the radius of this circle? And you can see that on this circle here, they give you 1 point and they ask you to find the radius. Now, the radius, if you don't remember, is the distance from the origin or the center of the circle to 1 point on the circle, on the line of the circle. So we have to find this distance here, and we don't know what that distance is, but they do give us one clue here. They tell us that this point is at -5, 12. What I did for you is I created a little bookmark that'll link you to the bottom of the page, and it gives you an example of how you can do this problem. So this problem here is a little different, and we're going to go over this one. So they do give you the radius in this problem, but they are missing one of the points on that point. Okay, so they're missing the y-axis here, and you can tell because it's x comma y. So they tell you that the x is 3, but they don't tell you what the y coordinate will be there. So here's a clock centered at the origin with a radius of 5 units. They tell us the coordinate 3 comma blank. How can we find the missing y coordinate? In the blue are my notes. So this is how I would solve it. So in order to find the missing coordinate, we're first going to have to create a right triangle in the image. And you can see in the second one here, I drew a little right triangle just by connecting this point to the line, straight down, okay? And I put a little square there to represent that this is a right triangle. Now, we are going to plug in our x coordinate 3. Okay, so we do know one thing, and they tell us our x coordinate is at 3. So the distance from here to here is going to be 3, right? Because this is our x axis. We don't know what this missing y coordinate is going to be, and that's what we're going to have to figure out. But once we have our x coordinate and our radius, we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem to figure it out. Okay, and if you guys remember this from geometry, once we have a right triangle and we have two of the sides, we can figure out the third side using a squared plus b squared equals c squared. We know that our hypotenuse is going to be our c squared, and our hypotenuse, again, is the longest side, which in our triangle here is going to be 5. Okay, and it's also across from the biggest angle, which is 90 degrees in a right triangle. So it's always across from the 90, or it's the longest side. So 5 is our hypotenuse. So if we set it up, it's going to be 3 squared plus b squared equals 5 squared. We're going to solve that, so we get 9 plus b squared equals 25. Subtract 9 from both sides. You're left with b squared equals 16. So b is 4. Okay? And now we know here that our side is going to be 4. It could also be -4. But notice how that it's in the positive coordinate, right? It's going to be going up 4, so it's going to be +4 and not -4. If this triangle was flipped the other way, it might be a -4. Okay, so you always have to consider that it could be plus or minus once you solve. Once we have our answer for it, we just plug it into the missing coordinate point there, and then you are done. Okay, so I want you guys to try it with this one. What I would recommend is drawing it out on pencil and paper, using pencil and paper, and then connecting. So we don't know the radius here for the first one, but you can create a right triangle just like that, okay? And we do know two things. We do know the x and the y. So we do know two of the sides, we just don't know the radius. So what would you do to figure that out, okay? One of the answer choices is here. And then for the second one of the answer choices is here as well, okay? So that's a way to check. Email me if you guys have any questions. Good luck. Do this again if you are confused. Do the example, and it'll help you out.